Okay, go ahead and plug the sound in. I'll reload this and make sure. There we are. Look at that. Oh, it locked up again. Not this again. Okay, there it is. Let's hope we got it. Let's check for sound. It's way behind though. Okay. Oh, it looks like it finally caught up. There we go. The Wi-Fi here is terrible. All right, welcome everybody. We'll give a minute for a couple people to join us. And so how's everybody doing? Anybody? We got one person watching. Let's see if we can get. It's you. Oh no, that person went away, so must not be you. Yeah, we got nobody. Nobody's watching. Nobody wants to play today.
It's too nice outside.
Yeah, it's hunting season. If they're not at work, they're hunting. So I'm going hunting after work. Yeah, I'm going over Steve, sit in the blind for a little while, see what I see. I was out Sunday and I saw 3 deer. Had 3 deer come out. Just watched them for a while. A little spike and a couple does. Nothing that I wanted. So, well, it's not looking like we're going to get anybody that wants to join us today. So, well, we'll go ahead and get started, and maybe they'll watch later. So, we've been talking about hunting with your AR over the last several weeks, and we talked over the last few weeks about what platform you want to build on, whether it's AR-15, AR-10. We talked about the different laws and regulations that the various states have around the country about hunting with your AR, whether it be caliber restrictions, magazine restrictions, magazine capacity restrictions. The some states don't allow semi-automatics. So, you got to make sure you know your laws. And we talked about what caliber you would want to choose based on what you're hunting and where you're hunting and how you're hunting. And today we're going to talk a little bit about setting up your AR specifically for that hunting. And again, it's very specific to what you're hunting and where you're hunting as to how you're going to set up a rifle. And it's also preference. There's obviously some preference in there. There's no one way to set up a rifle. There's a lot of preference that goes into grips and different things that you like or don't like. But I'm going to show you a few hunting rifles that I have, what I use them for, and how I have them set up. And it's kind of one of those things where you got to make your own decisions and based on, again, what you're hunting, where you're hunting, and how you're hunting. So this first rifle right here, this is my Critter Getter. This is just a 5.56 straight AR-15. I've got a 3x9 variable scope on here with a 40 millimeter optic. It's got a red dot on it as well for the low light conditions, morning and evening low light conditions. This is a pretty basic setup. I do have the vertical grip on here so that I can really anchor this thing back into my shoulder and get a good solid, right? This is my, like I said, Critter Getter, right? Raccoons, varmints, just stuff around the things that are getting after the chickens, whatnot. Right. This is the gun I use for that. Pretty basic. Again, if you've got a scope, I highly recommend some kind of extended charging handle, because a standard charging handle can be a little bit hard to get up under the scope and get to. So having an extended charging handle that releases from either one side or both is very useful. So you're not trying to get up underneath here in a hurry and fast and jamming your fingers. You can just even with the side of your hand, you can charge this gun. Okay, so that's just your basic setup for, like I said, varmints, maybe coyotes. I do like to use flash redirect or linear compensators on my hunting rifles, just because I'm not wearing hearing protection when I'm hunting. You know what I mean? I don't walk around with ear plugs stuffed in my ears. I don't walk around with my hunting muffs on. I want to be able to hear what's going on around me. I want to hear the other guys around me. If I'm hunting with my buddies, I want to hear things, right? So I'm not hunting with hearing protection, and this helps. Especially like in place of a muzzle brake or something, and especially if you're hunting out of a blind, right? This thing can be pointed out the window, but when all the gases and everything expand out to the side, all that goes into your blind and into your ears. So I want something that pushes the sound and the blast forward so that it's away from my ears. So most of my hunting rifles are going to be set up for some kind of something to either mitigate the sound or push the sound away from me, because I don't wear hearing protection when I hunt. This is my Ohio deer rifle. I'm going to set this one right here for now, and I'm going to set this one over here in its place. So this is my 350 Legend Ohio deer rifle. You guys have heard me talk about this rifle quite a bit. So what we got here is a nice lightweight build that I started with a Iron City Berserker Light receiver set. The Mission First Tactical Minimalist stock, a very lightweight handguard from Aetheris rifle, the Faxon Gunner profile barrel, and I have a 1-to-4 power LPVO from Crossfire. Or from Vortex on here, the Crossfire 2. And this also has the red dot on it for the low light conditions. I really like that for the morning and the evening. Almost any scope I'm going to buy is going to have that red dot capability or illuminated reticle, so that I can use it in those low light conditions. I have a grip, right, that I use here. I got a drop-in trigger. Again, I have the extended charging handle, so that I can do it with one finger off to the side. Even I don't have to reach up underneath. I can charge this right from the side. Okay, just so, because with the eye relief, the scope sits back pretty far, and you're going to want to be able to get to that charging handle. Got a few goodies on here: ambidextrous mag release, drop-in trigger, nice beveled mag well for quick reload, since we're limited to 3-round magazines in Ohio. Also have this set up with a sling. Okay, so we do a lot of deer drives here in Ohio, and that's the reason for the 1-to-4 power LPVO. We're doing a lot of deer drives, and there are times when a deer jumps up, maybe 20 yards in front of you out of a bed, and if you got a scope on here that's jacked up high power, you could be looking, right, trying to find where that animal is. And with the LPVO, it's on 1 power. You got both eyes open, and there's no magnification, so it's easy to find anything in that scope. And if you're not driving, you're on stand, and you can see 50 or 100 yards in any direction, you can just turn the power up, and you have magnification then. So I also have a Vickers single points or 2-point sling here, and I really like these slings. They allow the rifle to hang. Right, I'm walking, I'm in the woods, this rifle's right there, my hands are free, I'm pushing branches out of the way, I'm, whatever I gotta do, but this gun is right there that fast. And if I'm wearing some bulky clothes, I can let this out a little bit and give myself some more room. But this gun is always pretty much right at the ready. I can even just keep one hand right here, and all I got to do is I'm up that fast. So I'm a big fan of these type of slings for hunting purposes, especially where you're going to be doing some walking. If you're up on stand, you're in a tree stand, really not necessary, and you can always remove it. This one is latched in direct, but it has a quick detach here, and I could always put a quick detach. There's a quick detach mount right here. If I wanted to put a quick detach on here, I could have it here and there, and then if I went on stand or up in a tree stand, I could take this sling off in a matter of seconds, pack it away in my pack. So that's my deer hunting rifle. Again, a linear compensator just to push the sound away from me, because I don't wear hearing protection when I'm hunting. So, and I hunt out of a blind quite a bit, where I'll have this thing up in a tripod inside the blind, and there's been times when I've racked off a round, swinging sideways out of a window or something, and the blast has come back into the blind, and it'll, in a 6x6 enclosed area, when a gun goes off, it'll rattle your brain a little bit. So I try to get something that's going to push the sound away from me in any instance that I can. So here's another hunting rifle I have. This is my 6.5 Grendel, and right now this is set up for night hunting, coyotes, that kind of stuff, where you hunt at night. Infrared optics, so I can see at night. 18-inch barrel. This is set up to put my suppressor on. It also has an extendable bipod so that I can get prone on the ground and have stability. Drop-in trigger on this one again. And this is easy to put away. If I don't need it, don't want to use it, it's out of the way. Sling stock on this one. So the stock, or the sling, is built right in. If you all haven't seen this yet, this is kind of cool. Okay, and there you have your 2-point sling. And then if you don't, when you're ready to not have the sling, you tuck it away, retract it, and it's gone. Pretty neat little thing. That's from our friends at WMD Guns down in Stuart, Florida. So, this is kind of a heavy gun, so it's not something I'm going to be toting around, especially with this, 2-3 pounds of optics on it. This is more like something I'm going to have in a tripod for out in the field, coyote hunting, calling coyotes, hog hunting, that kind of stuff, where you hunt at night over the feed piles for the hogs, or calling coyotes in. This one I don't have the extended charging handle on yet, but it will have an extended charging handle here pretty soon. And this is nice too, because this is a nice long range gun, the 6.5 Grendel. If suddenly I get a hunt out west for antelope, which is going to happen next year, and this is probably the gun I'm going to take. I can take this off of here, and I can put this 3x9 scope on there, and I've got my antelope hunting rifle. So that's probably the gun I'm going to take with me to Wyoming to hunt antelope versus the AR-10 that I have, just because of the weight. The AR-10 has just about the same ballistics when it comes to distance and the bullet drop. It probably has a little more knockdown power, but with antelope, you don't need knockdown power, right? The antelope are smaller than a deer, so you don't need a lot of knockdown power. You need distance and bullet drop is your main consideration, because out there on the plains out west, you could be shooting 300 or 400 yards, no problem. So you want to make sure you have a gun that can shoot that far relatively flat, and that we talked about that last week with the bullet drop, the compensating for distance. The 6.5 Grendel drops about 25 inches at 300 yards, 400 yards. Yeah, 400 yards. With a 200 yard zero, it drops about 7 or 8 inches at 300, and it drops up to 24, 25 inches in that range at 400 yards. So you're going to be holding right at that animal's back, top of their back, so that bullet drops right into the chest area. So, and like I said, I like this versus the 308 just because the 308 weighs about 10 or 12 pounds, and there's a lot of spotting and stalking when it comes to that type of hunting. For out on the plains out west, you can see an animal half a mile away, and you got to try to work yourself in closer, and you end up doing a lot of crawling, down looking for drainage ditches, those kind of things, and crawling, sneaking, and trying to get yourself as close as you can to get the best opportunity to have a good shot on that animal. I'm really excited about that hunt. I'm getting ready to book it. I got all my preference points, and I'm getting ready to book my outfitter here probably in the next couple of weeks. So really looking forward to that. Never hunted out west. So, setting up your AR for hunting there's a little bit of, things that you want to, I guess, I wouldn't call them non-negotiables. You can set up your rifle however you want. For me, they're non-negotiables. Having something that pushes the sound away from me, excuse me, because I don't wear hearing protection when I'm hunting. I do, and I have not tried them yet this year. I probably might try them this year. I bought a set of the Axle in the ear buds that enhance the sound. So when there's, they're sound canceling. So, and I don't like to wear the big ear. I have a pair of sound canceling earmuffs, but I don't like to wear those because they can get in the way sometimes with the rifle. But these in the ear buds that I bought from Axle, I'm excited to try those because they enhance the sound that you hear around you until it gets to a certain decibel level, and then they shut off, and then they protect your hearing. So I'm going to give those a try this year for hunting and see how I do with those. And if I like those, maybe I can get away from having to put a sound redirection device on all my guns. I can maybe go with a muzzle brake or something if I want to. But, none of these rifles have, a lot of recoil that I need to worry about. The 6.5 Grendel probably has the most recoil out of all three of these rifles, and even that rifle doesn't have a ton of recoil. You start to get up into the 308s, even like maybe the 450 Bushmaster, that kind of stuff for deer hunting, then you're starting to get something that racks your shoulder pretty good. Predator Tactics. I know those guys. I met them at one of the shows. They're in our buy group. The NBS buy group. They're part of our, they're with the proactive sales team. They're part of that group. And I met those guys. They got some pretty good stuff. I have the tripod I use is the Bog Death Grip. I use the Bog Death Grip tripod. I like it. It's good tripod. It does everything. It does my crossbow. It does a rifle. It does just about anything I want to put it in there, and holds nice and steady. It's reasonably light. It's not a heavy tripod either. They make a couple of them that the legs and stuff are made out of carbon fiber. They're super light, but they're pretty expensive. We didn't get a whole lot of people join us today. Hopefully everybody's out doing something nice with the nice weather. It's supposed to turn cold this weekend. Cold and rainy. Winter's coming. Winter's coming. Yeah. So I hope everybody gets a chance to get out and do some hunting. I hope you get a chance to, if you can, hunt with your AR. It's a lot of fun. I had always wanted to hunt deer with an AR, and we couldn't for a long time here in Ohio. And a few years ago, 5-6 years ago, they started changing the laws, gave us pistol caliber straight wall cartridges to hunt with. And then when they came out with the 350 Legend, I made sure I gave it a year or so to make sure that it was a viable platform and that the cartridge was good and everything. There was a couple hiccups there at first with it, but once they got everything ironed out and it seemed like it was a pretty good round, I obviously jumped on the bandwagon, and I absolutely love the 350 for deer hunting. I've shot 3 deer with this thing so far, and it's got a punch. It knocks them down. They don't go very far, if they go anywhere at all. So good choice of weapon if you're restricted like we are here. Iowa, Indiana, some parts of Pennsylvania, Ohio, those different places that traditionally were shotgun only. If you can use a straight wall cartridge now, the 350 Legend is a great option for you. So I guess we're not going to get a whole lot of questions today with only a couple people watching. Even my wife didn't show up today. So, I recommend you try a few different things out. Obviously we all got buddies that hunt too, and, maybe check out some of the stuff they have on their rifles, see what you like. We all end up buying stuff that, I've got a ton of stuff that I bought because I thought it looked cool, and was like, oh yeah, and then you use it a couple times and you're like, yeah, that didn't work out quite the way I thought. So we all have boxes of that stuff, and you got to try a few things, see what works for you, see what you like, and go from there. But some kind of blast mitigation, maybe a sling, and obviously optics, and backup sights. I was going to mention, I don't have backup sights on this. I had this scope on here the first year. I had the 3x9 on here, and I had a drop down 45 sight on here, red dot, so that for when I had those up close shots, I could just go like this, and I had the red dot that I could use from the side, and I didn't have to rely on the scope. But now that I have the zero power scope on there, if I know I'm going to be somewhere that I'm not going to want to use any magnification, this thing just becomes a red dot for me. So that's why this doesn't have any backup sights on it, because this is, for all intents and purposes, it's everything I need. But for something like this that has magnification on it, excuse me, I would want to put some kind of backup sights on this. And, being that the scope is back so far, what I would usually do is I put a drop down 45 over here, and then I put a red dot sight, like a holographic red dot sight, RMR type sight on there. It's very small, unobtrusive, but, and then if you have adjustable scope, I built my own. This is what they call a throw lever. Okay. I'm at 3 power and I'm at 9 power, that fast, right? I don't have to sit and crank this thing. I know all of a sudden I see a deer, 200 yards away. I can crank over to 9 power and I'm there that fast. These little throw levers are very nice. They sell them relatively cheap. But I mean, I work in a machine shop, I work in a manufacturing facility, so why not make one, right? I made one. So, handy little item to have. But so, grips, muzzle devices, optics, slings. These are all the things to consider uh, when you're setting up your hunting rifle. So, like I said, I hope everybody gets a chance to get out and enjoy. Okay, enjoy your bike ride, Malvern, and hope everybody gets a chance to get out and go hunting. I am going to get out of here myself and go climb in the blind for the last couple hours of the day and see what happens. So y'all enjoy yourself, and we'll see you next week. What are we? I think I have to remember. I don't have my schedule here in front of me. I think we're going to be talking about AR-10s next week. We haven't talked about building an AR-10 and the complexities and the little nuances that come with building your own AR-10. So join us next week. I believe that's what we're talking about next week, is building an AR-10 platform rifle. So we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for joining me. Remember, you don't have to be an expert to build your own AR to upgrade it or maintain it. We're here to help you do that. Thanks.